What if the very routines that make your life manageable are the same patterns keeping you unconscious? And what if learning to deliberately disrupt these patterns could wake you up to a life you've never actually experienced? In this episode, Gurdjieff shares his practical methods for a fully conscious life. You can apply these methods in your daily life to live in the present moment. So listen till the end. And if these words make sense to you, don't forget to join our community by subscribing to this channel. Now, let's listen to Gurdjieff's wisdom of self-shock from his own perspective. Can you watch yourself for just 5 minutes, as if you were a scientist observing a fascinating specimen? Notice how thoughts arrive uninvited, how emotions sweep through like weather systems you cannot control, how your body moves according to patterns established years ago. Where is the conscious being who supposedly directs all this? Where is the awareness that claims to be in charge? Most humans live in a state of waking sleep, moving through their days like sophisticated automatons, convinced they are making choices when they are simply reacting to stimuli according to predetermined patterns. The tragedy is that this mechanical existence feels completely normal, even desirable, because everyone around you is equally asleep. The first shock is recognizing your own mechanicality. This recognition must be visceral, felt in your bones, experienced so directly that denial becomes impossible. Intellectual understanding means nothing. You must catch yourself in the act of being unconscious, again and again, until the evidence becomes overwhelming. Your mechanical nature serves you well in many ways, allowing you to navigate complex social situations, perform routine tasks, and maintain basic survival without exhausting your limited energy through constant deliberation. The danger arrives when machinery becomes your entire identity, when you mistake automated responses for authentic presence. You develop elaborate stories about who you are, what you believe, why you behave as you do, all of it constructed by the same mechanical processes you imagine you control. This machinery operates on fuel called identification. You identify with your thoughts, believing you are the thinker. You identify with your emotions, convinced they define your essential nature. You identify with your physical sensations, your social roles, your possessions, your opinions. Each identification strengthens the prison of mechanicality, making genuine consciousness more distant. The path to awakening begins with disidentification, with learning to observe the machinery without being absorbed by it. This requires a special kind of attention that most people have never developed, an awareness that can watch the show of personality without becoming entranced by the performance. Now I will teach you something practical, something you can apply immediately to create the conditions for awakening in your ordinary life. The method is simple. Deliberately place yourself in situations that disturb your mechanical functioning, that create friction between your habitual patterns and present moment reality. This intentional suffering, this conscious labor, generates the energy necessary for transformation. Choose something small to begin, perhaps arriving deliberately early to every appointment when your pattern is to run late, or remaining silent during conversations where you habitually dominate, or sitting perfectly still for 20 minutes when your body screams for movement. The specific action matters less than the quality of attention you bring to the discomfort it produces. When you violate your own mechanical patterns, something remarkable happens. The part of you that wants to continue the familiar routine begins to protest, generating tension, anxiety, even anger at being denied its accustomed expression. This tension is precious. It reveals where your attention usually sleeps, where consciousness has been replaced by autopilot. Stay present with this discomfort without immediately seeking relief. Watch how your mind generates elaborate justifications for returning to familiar patterns. This exercise is silly. I have more important things to do. A little flexibility never hurt anyone. These thoughts are the machinery defending itself against conscious intrusion. Physical and mental suffering can call us, can help us see how we are disconnected from everything, creating opportunities for presence that comfort never provides. When you deliberately fast while others eat, when you speak truth in situations where lies would be easier, when you do difficult work that serves no obvious practical purpose, you create what I call sacred friction. This friction generates heat, and heat transforms raw materials into refined substances. Your everyday life is already filled with opportunities for this practice. The annoying colleague who triggers your impatience, the boring task that makes you want to escape into distraction, the physical discomfort you normally avoid, each becomes a doorway to consciousness when approached with intentional awareness. The key is to stop avoiding difficulty and start using it as fuel for awakening. Every moment of genuine struggle, when met with awareness rather than mechanical reaction, strengthens your capacity for consciousness. You are building muscles that have atrophied from disuse. Here is the fundamental exercise from which all other work derives. Observe yourself without judgment, without trying to change what you observe, simply watching as you would watch clouds passing through sky. Begin with your body. Throughout your day, return your attention to physical sensation, the weight of your feet on ground, the rhythm of your breathing, the tension in your shoulders. This seems mundane, yet most people spend entire lifetimes completely disconnected from their physical experience, living entirely in mental abstractions. Next, observe your emotional states as they arise and pass. Notice how a comment from a stranger can trigger sadness, how a memory brings joy, how uncertainty generates anxiety. Watch these emotions like weather patterns, present and real, yet not fundamentally you, not requiring your identification or intervention. Finally, observe your thoughts with the same detached attention. Thoughts stream through consciousness constantly, claiming to be important, demanding your belief and action. Watch them arrive, notice their content and emotional charge, then watch them dissolve back into silence. You are not your thoughts any more than you are the weather outside your window. This triple observation of body, emotions, and thoughts creates a space between awareness and experience. In this space, genuine consciousness begins to emerge. Consciousness that can choose how to respond rather than simply react according to mechanical programming. Your ordinary life becomes a laboratory where every interaction, every challenge, every moment of boredom offers raw material for transformation. Standing in line at the market, observe your impatience. Caught in traffic, watch your frustration. Listening to someone speak, notice how your mind is already preparing its response instead of truly hearing. These small observations accumulate like drops of water filling a vessel, gradually shifting your center of gravity from mechanical reaction to conscious presence. The practice demands consistency and patience. You will forget constantly, losing yourself in identification hundreds of times each day. This forgetting is part of the process. What matters is remembering to remember, returning again and again to the observation practice despite countless failures. Over time, something shifts. The gaps between mechanical functioning and conscious awareness grow longer. You begin to catch yourself before reacting, creating choice where previously only automaticity existed. This is the beginning of real freedom. Now we approach territory that requires maturity to understand, the deliberate acceptance of difficulty for the sake of inner development. Intentional suffering and conscious labor are the two essential elements needed for development. This has nothing to do with masochism or self-punishment. It means choosing to remain present during difficult experiences rather than escaping into distraction, numbness, or fantasy. When physical pain arises, instead of immediately reaching for medication or distraction, stay with the sensation for a few minutes. Observe its quality, its location, its fluctuation. This doesn't mean neglecting genuine medical needs. It means using discomfort as an opportunity for presence rather than always avoiding it. When emotional pain surfaces, grief, loneliness, fear, resist the urge to immediately suppress or transform it. Sit with the feeling, breathe with it, and let it move through your body without adding stories about what it means or how to make it stop. The feeling itself becomes a teacher when you stop fighting it. When mental confusion or uncertainty appears, stay with the not knowing rather than grasping for premature answers. The discomfort of uncertainty is precisely what drives most people toward comfortable beliefs that may bear little relation to truth. Learning to rest in mystery is essential for genuine understanding. Through voluntary suffering, something remarkable occurs. The energy usually wasted in complaint, resistance, and escape becomes available for inner transformation. Imagine all the energy you typically spend wishing circumstances were different, resenting what is, fantasizing about what might be. Now imagine reclaiming that energy, directing it toward conscious presence instead of mechanical reaction. This is the alchemical process at the heart of the work. Each time you choose awareness over automaticity, presence over escape, acceptance over resistance, you are performing a sacred action. You are saying yes to reality as it is, creating space for genuine response rather than conditioned reaction. This yes is the beginning of inner freedom. The transformation happens gradually, almost imperceptibly. You find yourself less controlled by circumstances, less dependent on external conditions for inner peace. Difficulties that once triggered elaborate mechanical reactions become simple facts to be addressed with clarity and efficiency. This is the fruit of voluntary suffering. Everything I have shared must become woven into the fabric of your daily existence, transformed from interesting concepts into living practice that continues moment by moment. Each morning, set a clear intention to remember yourself throughout the day. Choose a simple reminder, perhaps noticing your breath whenever you pass through a doorway, or observing your posture whenever you sit down. These external anchors help consciousness maintain continuity in the face of life's countless distractions. Throughout your day, create small exercises. Eat one meal in complete silence, paying full attention to each bite. Walk without destination for 20 minutes, simply observing your surroundings and your inner state. Sit still for 5 minutes without checking your phone, reading, or otherwise occupying your attention. When you interact with others, practice being fully present rather than simultaneously planning your next statement. When someone speaks, listen with your entire being, setting aside the commentary your mind wants to provide. This quality of attention is rare and precious, a gift both to yourself and to those you encounter. Most importantly, meet your inevitable failures with compassion rather than judgment. You will forget yourself constantly, lose presence, and fall back into mechanical functioning. This is guaranteed. What matters is returning to awareness each time you notice you have drifted, without wasting energy on self-criticism or disappointment. The work of awakening has no endpoint, no final achievement where you can rest on past accomplishments and declare yourself finished. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to be present or to sleep, to respond consciously or to react mechanically. The person who has practiced for 30 years must still choose awareness in each new moment, just as the beginner must. This is both humbling and liberating. Humbling because it reveals the endless nature of the work. Liberating because it removes the burden of needing to reach some imagined destination. Your mechanical nature will never disappear completely. The patterns established over decades of unconscious living remain available, ready to activate whenever attention wavers. This is as it should be. The machinery serves useful purposes and need not be destroyed, only brought under conscious direction rather than allowed to run wild. The goal is to develop a permanent witness, an awareness that maintains continuity regardless of what thoughts, emotions, or circumstances arise. This witness doesn't judge or interfere, it simply observes, creating space between stimulus and response where genuine choice becomes possible. What I have shared with you is both incredibly simple and difficult. The simplicity lies in the practices themselves, observing your body, creating intentional friction, staying present with difficulty, remembering yourself throughout the day. Anyone can begin this work immediately, without special training or elaborate preparation. The difficulty lies in maintaining these practices against the tremendous momentum of mechanical functioning, in remembering to remember when 1,000 forces conspire to make you forget, in choosing consciousness when unconsciousness is so much more comfortable and familiar. Yet this work is the only truly serious work available to human beings. Everything else, career success, material accumulation, social recognition, even family and relationships, happens mechanically or consciously depending on your state of awareness. Without consciousness, you are merely acting out programs installed by forces you never chose to accept. The question I posed at the beginning finds its answer in your own direct experience. You are indeed asleep in your life right now, and awakening requires the deliberate application of shock, intentional practices that disturb your mechanical functioning and create space for genuine presence to emerge. The shock must be self-administered, repeated daily, maintained throughout your life, because consciousness is not a destination you reach, but a practice you embody in each passing moment.